David Abrams. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. I first want to thank you for being here with me for this episode of Advantage Legacy, and just to let the let our community know, we are here in Virginia right now for the annual Winter Invitational. We've got a lot of fierce competition going on, and you honored us by coming up from Orlando and speaking to the participants today. So
that's my pleasure.
We just want to do a little bit of extension to some things that you talked about.
Okay, sure.
So first of all, for those who don't know you and what your title is, can you please tell us your full name and what your current title is?
Okay, so I work for the United States Tennis Association, that's the USTA. My title is Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for the USTA. And for those that don't know, the USTA's mission is to promote and develop the growth of tennis. In my role, it's to make tennis look and feel more like America.
Okay, that's great. Now, so just more specifically, DA, in your role right now, what would you say are the top 2 or 3 priorities for you in leading the movement for diversity and inclusion for the USTA?
Okay, so I want to do you one better, and I want to give you our 6 pillars if I can.
That's great.
All right, so, and I'll be fairly brief, but we have 6 pillars, and the first one is human assets. And just in short, we want to make sure that there's diversity among everything that we do in tennis. From the staff, the volunteers, as you know that we're a volunteer staff-driven organization, from the suppliers to the providers, folks like you all at Legacy, you know, what you're doing. We just want there to be representation across the board. Ultimately, to the fans of the U.S. Open and other professional tournaments in the United States of America, and then certainly those on the court playing tennis. So that's human assets. The second one is image. And image, in short, think about it this way. We want people to be able to see themselves in the game. That's just so very important. I mean, it's important to what you do. When people are on court or off court, just kind of checking you out and experiencing tennis through you, they're able to see what the possibilities are through yourself. Many examples of that. Another point would be supplier diversity. Now, supplier diversity, we believe, is really important because, one, these businesses that are owned and operated, or majority owned and operated by underrepresented groups, really represent, for the most part, these primary target audiences that we're trying to reach from a diversity and inclusion standpoint at the USTA. So these individuals, I mean, they have a lot of street cred, if you will, in the communities that we're trying to reach. So we think it's important to do business with these different businesses. Fact is, we're trying to get folks playing from these different communities. So, I mean, that just seems to make a lot of sense. We have 17 sections within the United States Tennis Association. So rather than there be a top-down approach as it relates to diversity and inclusion, we want to meet with each and every section and find out what's important to them. What are they trying to get done? I mean, we all share in the same mission, which is to promote and develop the growth of tennis, but we all get at that a little differently. So finding out what's important to them really works. And once we find out what's important to them, 10 times out of 10, we can come up with a diversity and inclusion solution to help them meet their goals and objectives. The fifth one is strategic partnerships, and I mean, to me, that's really a no-brainer, right? We're trying to reach and engage these new audiences. There are organizations that have been around for a very long time that have relationships with the very audiences we're hoping to get into tennis. So coming up with a win-win situation with each and every one of these strategic partners just makes a lot of sense. And then lastly, training and development. From a D&I perspective, we have a training modality called cross-cultural dexterity, which is something that I just happen to believe, I might be a little biased here, but I just happen to believe is best in class. And it really helps us uncover those unconscious biases, but not just to uncover them. And if you're breathing, you have an unconscious bias. I have many of them myself. But once we sort of understand what they are, then how do we get to managing around those in order to grow the sport of tennis? So those would be our 6 pillars.
That's great.